In this video, we will use native modeling tools of Blender to create pendant from an image. So here what we have, I did prepare you an image, simple image to create a pendant. So you can draw it, scan it, whatever you will take. A black and white image will work, a drawing of yourself will work, it will be the same. So you can just scan your document, make a JPEG or PNG. Blender takes all these kinds of images. So and to put it inside the interface of Blender. So you can see I have the default cube and the default scene in Blender. I will remove everything here. So I select everything here and I go to Gerocraft and set units here just to be sure that I will not have too much objects and that my here units are well set. So here what I can do is just take the mesh modeling pendant design image or whatever image you want to create your image, to create your design, and just click and drag, just like that. You can see that it will give me a new object, so it will be an empty. This empty is actually an image. We can rename it reference, maybe. Something like that. And you can see that now the orientation is a little crazy because when you click and drag, it takes the view, the natural view that you have. So what we will do, we will take this object, make Alt-G, put it in the middle, okay? So remove all the locations with Alt-G, Alt-R to remove all the rotations, and now it's flat like that. So the goal will be to create a design from that. Be careful to not be into perspective mode here, so with 5 into the numpad to be in orthographic, to not have the perspective that will disturb the modeling here. Into the reference settings here, you have some data image here that you can change. And what I use usually is not something with an opacity at 1 like that. So I will just enable opacity and click and drag like this, just to have something really that will not disturb too much into the interface. If you click and drag a PNG image with transparency, with opacity, so you can for example remove these white parts if you want, if it disturbs during the process, but usually with this technique it's okay. So let's call this collection reference, and let's add a new collection here. It will be our pendant base. Perfect. And now we can add the object. So the goal of this technique, it will be very useful for pendants, for earrings, whatever that will be flat in the end, that will have a flat surface, and that you will have a kind of extrusion of this flat surface. So let's start the modeling. We will add a mesh. This mesh will be a plane. This plane will be pendant base. And I wanted to make something before to adjust the size of the future design. Okay, so let's say for example we will have 4 centimeters, so 40 millimeters design. For now my plane is 2 millimeters. So what I will do, I will take my plane here and go into the object, into not into the object here, sorry, into the item, and select the dimensions of the plane. So I would like something that will be 40 millimeters in the end. It will just be a guide like that to tells us how to scale this, and we will scale this up to have more or less 40 millimeters there. So this step is important to have the good size in the end. Okay, so we have more or less what we want. After, you just have to take back your plane here, your pendant base, and put the Alt-S here, and it will come back with the original size. Okay, let's go in edit mode now. and we can start the modeling. So the modeling technique is very simple actually. You just make a GR, we will use GRS to manage vertices by vertices, and scale, okay, here a little, and we will try to follow the design as much as possible. Okay, so you can stay a little outside of the geometry, just like that, and after it's just extrusions. So you take two vertices here and you make an extrude R and G, and you can zoom in. Be sure to be in top orthographic view here, it's important, and follow the design a little outside. Stay a little outside always, because after with subdivision sometimes you can have some deformations and it removes a little of geometry after. So yeah, you just follow the design like that. I took this design because there is an intersection here that goes there, and I show you how to make that, okay? And after I will just speed up the process, or maybe make it on my side and come back when it's finished, when I finish to draw the design like that, okay? So here we can just continue like this until we arrive there into the intersection, okay? So this vertex has to be into the intersection, and then I will scale it down a little, just like that, and go there and make the next section here, okay? Like this we have the next intersection here, and we can just continue to extrude it on this side and continue the rotations and everything until we go to the tip here. So I will try to make it quick. So we use just these 4 shortcuts: extrude, R, G if you need to move it a little, scale it down if you need to, or scale it up, E, G, R, S. Usually you can adjust everything like that very quickly. So as you can see, I just make kind of silhouette of the design, and in the end I add a little more density like this. Perfect. And now we can start with this part here and continue the design like that. So we can just continue here and make the extrusion and continue like this. Okay, so you just let 2 vertices that are well in place, and you just start the new extrusion with that and adjust everything to make it good, okay? And then it's exactly the same process until the end. So I will just pause the process because it might be a little long to watch, and when I arrived into the junction, because we will have a junction to make, I will come back to you and then we will continue the design. Okay, now we are ready to continue here. So I did model everything, as you can see, like that. So the goal is really to have something with kind of regularity. You can adjust, for example, this vertex here and adjust it well, for example, like that. The rotation of the edges that are perpendicular of the design has to be always the most possible, perpendicular of the line of the design, and that's what we have now. So as you can see here, when you arrive in the end here, you need to create a face. So what you can do is select the 4 vertices that you have and you make F to have the vertex like that, to have your face like that, and it will be the same here, F, And now if I hide the reference here, now we can see that we have an object that is ready to extrude. So the first thing we will need to do is to add subdivision to that, because we can see that there is a kind of increment here, some increments that are really not beautiful. So what we will do for that, we will just add a modifier, very useful. So this modifier is a modifier subdivision surface. Subdivision surface will kind of subdivide here all the vertices, and I can show you that there. I will remove optimal display here and use wireframe. You can see that before we had this, okay, and now with the modifier subdivision surface we have this, and you can increase the subdivision to have something smoother and smoother like that. Okay, so let's say we will keep at 1. I think it's enough for the design that we have, and we can here adjust, for example, these lines here. If you want something a little harder, you can play with that too. So I will remove the wireframe mode here. You see we have really something roundish here, and we would like maybe something harder. So to make this, you just have to add some loops like that into the one to the intersection to not have this kind of design here. You may Control R and you add a loop like this, and you can see now it's still smooth but not too much, and we will make the same here. Okay, everything we feel that we need an intersection like that, a little more hard, so it will be better. So now we can play with that, and we have the perfect design to extrude. So this is our pendant base. The first modifier is a subdivision surface. Be sure that the design is totally flat in numpad 1, so it means in front view. Like this you are sure. If it's not flat, if for example there is some vertices there, who knows, and you make like that, you see you have something like this, and maybe you made a bad extrusion, or you did change the view during the extrusion, the process of extruding. So here when you have this kind of problem, you make SZ0 like that, and everything will be flat again. Okay, so now you have design that is ready to extrude. And to extrude that, you can make it manually actually, but you can add a modifier to solidify the surface that you have. So solidify will give you a volume from a surface, so it will extrude the geometry by itself just like that, but it's just a modifier. So like this it will be non-destructive, so you can just add a thickness here. So let's say for example we would like 1.5 millimeter, maybe it can be good like this. Okay, for 40 millimeters wide, it can be good like that. Okay, 1.5 millimeter seems to me good. You can put the offset there, or you can put the offset up, down, or up. You can see that here if I put 1 it will be up, if I put -1 it will be down. Let's say we would like up for this example, so it will be our pendant base, and we can play with different settings to have different versions of this design. For example, you could play with something like that to add J-walls inside. So let's say we would like to make a different version of it. We will add not new, sorry, Control Z. I will just duplicate this collection, hide the first one, and let's say this one we will add subdivide 2 times, subdivide it. And for this one we will play with the modifiers and actually how you want to use these modifiers. So if for example you put this like that and you add a modifier subdivision again, you can have interesting results like that, you see. So here I will make shade smooth here, and you can see that now you have a pendant subdivided. If you remove the first, some subdivision of the first here modifier, you can have something rounder. Okay, you can see that now it's rounder. So it can be interesting to play with the settings like that. Okay, and if you remove the third one here, and that you play with only the second one, and you would like to put it just after the solidify, it will be rounder and rounder. So this one is really round, okay, full round. But if you put the first one, what's happening here? So you read the modifiers from the first to the last, actually. That's why they make different effects here. So what's happening here? We have, and I will add the last subdivision surface here to show you that. Here, to have the roundish version, square, but with round, with smoother edges here. So what's happening here? We come back from the beginning. So I hide this one, I hide this one, and I hide this one in the beginning, and I will show you the geometry really made with that to understand what's happening. So we have just our flat design without any subdivision. Okay, so what we have now is a subdivided version with this one. Okay, so it gives us far more geometry here. If I increase now the height of it with the solidify, you can see that we have like an extrusion, but without any subdivision here. Okay, and we have here now the last subdivision here. It will kind of smooth those edges here like that. Okay, so you can even increase it, and now you really have the density of it. So it's kind of dense mesh, but it will work to produce a ring, a pendant like that. Okay, good. Now I would like to make another version maybe of this one. So I will hide this, take the base again, remove the wireframe to not be too much disturbed by this, and I will duplicate the pendant base here. So duplicate the collection and make another one. So this one will be here with rail. Okay, and I will come back to that one to play with that. For this, I will need to apply things at the moment. If I don't apply things, I will not have the possibility to make the rails like I want. So what I will do, I will just go into wireframe mode to see again what's happening here and to see if it's possible easily to add rails there. So we can see that we have little faces. Sometimes if we want a rail like a thin rail, it might be okay. So just be careful that the rail has to be less thick than this distance, okay, when you see your wireframe view. So it might be okay for some parts, and I can play with that. So let's say I would like to add some rays only in the thicker part. Okay, so I will just apply everything that I have here. So I make something now that is destructive, so I have to be careful to make a duplication before. That's why I did duplicate the collection. So I apply everything, and now in edit mode I should have here all the geometry that I need. The only thing that seems to me a little strange here, that will not work with what I want, so it's this place. Because of the subdivided version, it did change a little thing. So what I will do, I will go in here in wireframe mode and with Z, and I will just adjust these vertices like that to have something that will be a little more smooth for this part here, as you can see, because I would like this line to be perfect. And this line is important to make the rail that I want to make after. And again, this one, and we are good to go. So now I can come back in solid view and make my rails. So be careful to take something not to make rails not too thick here, and I will make my selections. So maybe to make a quick selection like that, what I do usually, I just use the Control key. It's very useful to select what you want just with Control left click, just like that. Okay, let's say we'll stop here, or maybe continue until here. So just with Control click, you can feel really easily what you need. Okay, I will just continue like that and come back here until there. Perfect. And now if I want to make a rail with that, I can use the Y key. And as you can see, that's why I cannot go too far because of this part here. You can see that we have little faces, and if I make Y here, you can see that at a moment it will cross it and the geometry will not be good. So we can go until there and not more. So we can remember that more or less. And anyway, we can make the Y operation with multiple selections. So let's say now I would like to select another part, and I will use another tool here. It will be the circle selection to paint the selection that I want. So this is something that can be useful as well, like this, maybe just the thick part here, maybe until there. I come back again, and if I want to add to my selection, let's say I'm okay with that. If I want to add to my selection, I just use here this mode extend editing existing selection. Yeah, I didn't make it for this. Anyway, I will come back to it. So I extend here my selection. I add the selection that I need. Everything that is thick enough, let's say, to add some jewels. We did see already some gems. We did see already how to add the gems on this design. I did show you the finished design into the first chapter. So I will go there, select everything that I need to, and I will make the rail. Let's say until here, it might be okay for what I feel. And now I can make Y, come back to the normal selection here, and I can make Y to the entire selection, okay, until this. And it seems everything is okay now. So you can see into the insert face options, I have the selection. I have different possibilities here. I can make individual, and it can be interesting, but it makes it on all the faces, so can be interesting, but not for this case actually. You can make it for with an offset relative, so sometimes it can be helpful, but not on this way. And you can select the outer or not select the outer inside. For our case, we don't want the outer, we want the inside, so as it is, but sometimes it can be useful to play with that as well. So now we can make the extrude, to put an extrusion on it until we are happy with the depth. Let's say something like 0.25 negative, sorry. You put the little minus here, and it should be good like that. Now you have another version with rails. And even this one, you can even subdivide it. So for example, you can duplicate the selection and you can call it rails subdivided. And here you just have to add a modifier subdivision surface again, okay? And now you have this kind of design that can be very interesting as well. So now you can add your gems, you know already the techniques to make that, and you have different kind of designs here. So if you want to attach this pendant to a chain or something like this, you have to add little things on it. So we can add a new collection, and we can call it attach, or ring, because it will be an half ring, so ring might be okay. And so here I will add here a mesh, and this mesh will be a torus. So you can play with the thickness here. So you have the major radius, the minor radius, so you can play with the thickness of it, for example, like that, and the number of segments that you will use, for example, here. Let's put it not too much, like 32 might be okay, and 12 it's okay as well. So now I would like to put this design, half of it somewhere here and somewhere there. Maybe I will have two places to attach it on this kind of design here. So what I do usually, I just scale it up. You can still play with all the settings here, like the thickness, for example. If you want to play with the thickness, you use Alt S. Alt S will move the faces on their orientation, so it will play with the thickness just simply like that into edit mode. So anyway, Alt S here, just like this. Let's say something around here. And we can add a modifier to subdivide it, okay, and make a shade smooth like that. Then when you are here, you just have to put it into the right place. Like for example, let's say we would like to put it here, okay, so just put the dot into the surface like that. Be sure into the right view to put it well with GZ, just like this, okay. And again, we will make the same here with Shift D. We will duplicate it and put it here, and like this you will have the possibility to attach the design easily to a chain. So what you can do, you can hide what's inside with this. You can just add a cube here, that you put it there, you scale it up, okay, just the size that you need to cut what's around, what's inside the design, like that. So, and you select this one to this one and make Ctrl Shift minus to cut it. So like this, it will not disturb the design, and you have everything you want now. This ring can be added to all the designs that we have, the base, for example, or the subdivided will work as well. So if you see that there is a little space that is outside, make the same operation for this one. You add a cube, you scale it up, you put it there with G, you select this one to that one, Ctrl Shift minus, and you cut it. So like this you are okay to continue, and it will work after with whatever pendant that you did create. Okay, so this is the first type of modeling that we will see with Blender. So create a surface from an image and extrude it after. A last technique that can be used for that, if you want, for example, to bend this kind of object, it's possible with the curve modifier. So let's say, for example, you don't want something that is totally flat, but you would like something that is a little modified by a curve. So let's say we will add, like usual, we will add into the Jewelcraft add-on, we will add a curve here, a size curve, up, and you can see that this design now is around the curve. So you can scale it up, for example, scale up the curve like this, and now you have what you want. Okay, so the design is not flat but a little bended like that. So can be useful sometimes for having multiple designs. Again, if you want to make this design around the curve and multiply it, you can, before the curve, add a modifier array. The array will be there, and you increase the count until you make the circle directly. And we will see a little more of this technique during the next videos. So that's it for this one, and next video will be how to make a bezel setting here, so to make a full setting around a big stone.